All right, guys, Rev and Evan, and we are back in action. We're here at Bowling Green, Kentucky at the NMRA Holly World Finals, talking to my man Mike Bowen. I've loved this car for a long time. It's a Maverick. It's a grabber Maverick, and he runs in factory stock. Mike used to run in Coyote stock, so obviously it's got a Coyote swap, which we'll show you in a minute. It's a stick shift. It does wheelies. Tell us a little bit about the car, and also, I guess, talk about why you switched from Coyote stock to factory stock.
Okay, so the car was built a few years ago as a Coyote stock car. We ran that was back in the day when we ran the TKOs.
Right.
And as the rules evolved, we ended up being allowed the G101s about mid-season, and what we ended up doing was at that point in time I didn't have the budget for a G101, right. So I actually borrowed a C4 from James Meredith,
right, and
who was factory stock champion, and we went factory stock racing right then and there. So it worked out. We qualified number 2 at our first event, and then we were on the hook. So
because the engine rules are pretty similar. So this is
Correct.
A 71.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about the history of this car and why you built a Maverick.
Well, I actually bought the car on eBay
right.
out of Alabama.
Okay.
I was originally going to do a 64 Fairlane that I owned, I possessed.
Right.
But when I stumbled across this car, I fell in love with it, and I ended up selling the Fairlane back to the previous owner.
Right. Were you going to do like a Thunderbolt clone?
We were, but for Coyote stock also.
So cool.
So I kind of favored the Maverick instead, and we ended up going to Alabama and picking up the Maverick. So.
Right. So that's how. Did you always love Mavericks?
I did. Back in the Fun Forward and early NMRA days, there was a couple of Mavericks that ran then that I fell in love with, and they were really good looking cars.
So in factory stock and in Coyote stock, if you're fans of the NMRA, the Fox body platform is at the top of the food chain. It's just easy to make them work. There's so many aftermarket suspension parts, but this car has leaf springs.
Correct.
And obviously an older style front end. So what did you do to the car? Because if you had a Fox body, it just K-frame it, you know, put the 4 bars in the back, some drag springs, and coilovers. What did you have to do to the suspension to get it up to snuff and be competitive in NRA competition?
So what we did was, it's still a leaf spring car. We use Caltrac split monos. We use Caltrac traction bars, Menzer shocks in the rear.
Okay, nice.
The front has got an AJEK member in it now.
Oh, nice.
And it utilizes Fox spindles and Fox style brakes and Fox style struts on the front.
Oh, okay, so it works like a Fox body.
Correct.
In the front.
Yeah, because in order to get the Coyote and the Maverick, we had to actually section the strut towers 4 inches on each side of the mount.
Okay.
In order to get the valve coverage.
That was my next question, actually, because you also run a stock hood.
Correct. Yeah, it's a carbon fiber version of the stock hood, but it is essentially a stock
flat
hood.
hood and flat end,
yeah.
right? Okay, so what transmission's in it now?
G101. G101.
Okay, and you have to still run a diaphragm clutch?
Diaphragm clutch.
And then what, is it 9-inch?
It is a 9-inch this weekend. Just this weekend's the first weekend for it. It's been an 8.8 up until just very recently.
Did you slow down at all with the 9-inch?
So far the car's picked up. So
yeah, a lot of people say the 8.8 because of the location of the
pinion gear.
The pinion gear. When I switched it in my Fox body, I noticed no difference.
Yeah, this car actually, as of this weekend, like again, this is the first real race we've been to with this 9-inch. But as of this weekend, it seemingly has picked up. So
well, my theory on that, because mine actually picked up a little speed. Mm-hmm. My theory is, yes, on a bench, the 8.8 will turn like a 12-bolt better.
Absolutely.
But the 8.8 parts, even the physical housing, is small.
Right.
And you're not on a bench here. When you dynamically let go of the clutch, the tubes move. So
everything moves.
Anything moves, you bind the axles and the spool. So even if the stuff's heavier and beefier, if the spool and the axles aren't binding in a 9-inch, it's going to be more sturdy. The car's going to go fast.
And I think that third bearing on the back of the pinion.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, so you're behind the wheel of the car. Tell us a little bit about driving it. What do you do in the burnout? How high do you rev it?
Oh, I mean, basically we get up in the burnout box. I choose second gear. Just bring it up to, maybe 25, 3,500, pop the clutch out, do a burnout through second gear. Try to keep it below 7. I mean, I don't like to spin it real hard in the burnout. And then we just bring it up to the line. Adjust the clutch tamer, and then you just hold on, and let her go.
So you put it in first and take us through a run.
You never know what you're going to get. It might knock the tires off. It might stand it up on the bumper. So there's a little bit of anticipation at the starting line. It's really simple. Just let go of the clutch. Hopefully you've done it at the right time. Knock it into second, knock it into third, knock it into fourth, and just hold on for the rest of the ride.
How high you buzz this thing?
All of it. As much as it could possibly do.
So that's screaming, because you can tune the car yourself, right?
Correct,
so you're not limited like in Coyote-Swapped?
Well, we are to a degree. We're not limited per se, but the ECU has a hard limit where you can't turn the rev limiter past. It just physically will not go.
Right.
But it uses every inch of that.
All right, Mike, so how you running so far this weekend? It's a little warm out here in Bowling Green.
Oh, it is hot. So we're right now, we're number one. And
that's the best place to be.
And we set a record too. So for
congratulations.
First round, thank you. We went on 08.
10:08.
Yeah, 10:08, sorry. So, I mean, it's...
And what's a mile an hour?
132.
Wow, that's flying.
Yeah.
That is absolutely flying.
Yeah.
Is it more liberal in factory stock versus Coyote stock? Because you can go into the motor, right? Even though you can't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, the rules are pretty strict. I mean, the motor's basically got to be a stock motor, but you can freshen it up, and you can put oil pump gears in it and timing gears and that sort of thing.
Right.
So you know, we're allowed to get in there and freshen it up and take care of it.
So this is Gen 2 Coyote?
This is Gen 1.
Gen 1, but you're allowed to change the intake.
Yeah, you get a 25-pound penalty to go to a Gen 3 intake.
Right, so the class is filled with all different kinds of stuff. And in factory stock, you can run a conventional small block, a 2-valve, a 3-valve, or a Coyote, right?
Correct, yeah, you can run any modular combination and push rod. So.
And you're leading the pack with this car?
I am as of this weekend, yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
that's awesome. And you're sitting third in points.
Third in points.
Is there any shot to get the championship, or that's out of reach?
Oh, I mean, like everything would have to fall our way, and I don't think it's going to happen. So.
Right, it is kind of hot out, and but hey, man, hopefully you get the win this weekend. Yeah. I got to ask you, what is the absolute quickest that this car has ever been with a Coyote combination?
So back in 2019, we went to World Cup Finals at MIR. Yep. Through the weekend, we went 925 at 143. So we're quite a bit lighter at World Cup Finals, and that we were using M5 for fuel. So it was it was fun. It was something else.
What does the car have to weigh in factory stock?
We have to weigh 3325.
Okay.
And again, it was 2650 at World Cup Finals.
You can get it that light.
Yeah, it takes a lot of parts missing off of there. Yeah.
I bet. That's awesome, man. 920s out of basically a stock Coyote. Yep. Unbelievable. Now, if you never heard of the World Cup, fantastic track, and it is like in November, right, or December?
This year it's the very first weekend of November, end of October, November.
Yeah, so they get mine shaft weather. I mean, it's basically like turbocharged air, if you will.
Yeah.
It takes a great effort to be able to go 920s with a combination like this.
Sure.
Ramming the gears. This thing does awesome wheelies. We'll show you out on track. Mike, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We love your car.
Thank you.